Welcome to the workshop. I'm Salty Clam, and here we ditch the rules. We take the timeless craft of woodworking and fuse it with the limitless possibilities of 3D printing to build unique tools, custom furniture, and innovative projects. Ready to build better? Let's get making. You're looking at Moon and Gemini, two cats with a serious case of wanderlust. They love their nighttime patrols, but I love knowing they're safe. Open air sleeping outside isn't an option when the temperature drops, so it's time for a change. Today I will be building a cat house for them so that they can be cozy and safe and adventurous outside. Just for some context, I want it to end up looking something like this. Specifically for this video, which is part 1, I will be cutting the pieces for the frame and partially assembling it, which is number 3 on this diagram. Alright, so here I'm using a pallet to create a makeshift sawhorse so that I can cut these pieces for the studs of the cat house with my SKIL Circ Saw accurately and safely. Specifically right now I'm cutting a 9-inch piece. Funny enough, I actually used a plunger to try to get the line straight, which did not work, but later on I ended up using my Milwaukee Speed Square. Yeah, right here you can see me messing up and just really trying to get the line straight there. I realized that I needed to weigh down the plank of wood somehow so that it didn't move when I was cutting. So I ended up using a few old batteries and a box full with heavy metal parts. Here I am unplugging the saw when it is not in use because it could easily be accidentally turned on and a runaway saw is extremely dangerous. Because of my makeshift setup, it was actually pretty hard to get the cut accurate, so I brought the pieces up to my Ryobi table saw just to get them as close as possible and to ensure that the cut was square, which will be very important while assembling the framing correctly. And here I am lining up the cut. Remember to always visualize the cut before you do it and let the blade fully stop before you reach for your piece. This right here is another piece that will be used for the frame. Once again, I cannot stress how important it is to get these cuts as accurate and as close to square as possible. As you can see, I'm using a speed square to try to get the Circ Saw cut as square as possible, but it doesn't really work that well. By the way, I really like raspberry apple juice. Here I'm cutting quite a large piece because I bought the pieces from Home Depot and they were 8 feet long, which was why I had to use the Circ Saw in the first place, but here I am cutting it into smaller pieces using the table saw. I'm pretty clumsy, by the way. Here I am sweeping up the sawdust off the ground for the place that I will be assembling the frame in. Once again, it is really important to have a level ground while assembling something that needs to be square, like a cat house. As you can see, that board is pretty warped, which will be a pretty big problem later. Now I will start assembling the framing. Here I am using some construction screws that are 2.5 inches long and my Ryobi drill. As you can see, that is tipping left to right a lot, which is largely because of the warped board, but actually I made a mistake when I drilled. When I drilled, sawdust built up under the piece there, and that made it so that it could not be screwed flush with the base there. The reason why the screw cannot be drilled any further into the piece is because the drill that I'm using does not have enough torque to twist the screw, so I end up having to use a hand screwdriver. Okay, this is going to conclude part 1 of the series. We made a lot of progress. We went from a few 8-foot long pieces of wood to a at least partially assembled cat house frame, and I'm really excited to keep going on the project. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good day.